You're listening to Forever and Ever, the Kelly Fans Podcast with me, Paul Montgomery.
Me, Callum Michael Scott.
Subscribe in all your usual places for your weekly slice of Kelly content. Hello everybody and welcome back to Forever and Ever, the Kelly Fans Podcast, coming to you live from Limelight Studios in Irvine. My name is Paul Montgomery. Across from me is Callum Michael Scott. This is episode number 6 of season 5, believe it or not. We're right into the throes of the season now. We're going to be covering a famous night on Friday, a victory over Ayr. We've got no game to preview, so it might be a short and snappy one. We'll take your questions on the X and on the KellyFC.com forums. Got Aberdeen in the Cup, we'll talk about that. We're bringing in a new signing, it sounds like. We'll chat about that. And then we'll talk about how relaxed Cal is the night, everybody. He's actually wearing sliders. You might tell the people why.
Just, I'm trying to think, did I? No, you drove last week because I left my sunglasses in your motor.
Yep.
Again, it's a tradition. But I just, again, because it was passing down outside and all that, I thought it was just perfect to kind of cut about my socks and sliders.
Good.
Thought it was the ideal weather for it. Nah, just when you picked me up, I was kind of in lounge mode.
Mm-hmm.
So I just suggested that I would just wear my sliders.
Good.
These bad boys have lasted me about 10 years as well.
Oh, you can tell.
Can you?
Aye, they've
got paint on them.
They look like they're real sliders.
And they've been everywhere, man.
Aye, have they seen a bit of the world?
Mostly kind of Mediterranean, Europe.
Right.
Aye, other than that.
Toured the world and elsewhere.
Aye, but they're here tonight and that's the most important thing.
Good. So obviously the main chat will be Friday night's antics and a very healthy crowd, 11,500. Were you surprised by that?
You think you'd be a bit more optimistic after what happened?
How? One in the cup?
Huh?
I'll talk about that.
Aye,
I got slaughtered on the KellyFC.com forums, guys. I got slaughtered
to this. It's got
because I was a wee bit upset, but as I have already tried to rectify the situation, it's a me thing. There's definitely something wrong with me. I'm not enjoying it. We'll talk about all that. So Friday night was all about Kelly. Saturday night we were invited to a party down here in Irvine. Stu, the great Stu, the man behind all this magnificence, he's actually no 40 yet, and he's told us that all his gifts that he got on Saturday night, we're now into Monday, he's not opened any of them.
It's like sensational, isn't it?
There's levels to this. I just couldn't
that level of discipline.
cope with that. I've got all my advent calendar opened on like the 9th of December. I'm like, I can't wait, see. Wonder if it's a wee Robin.
In fairness, when it comes to the advent calendar, surprisingly, I'm usually in kind of catch-up mode with it.
Oh, do you?
Aye, which I'm quite surprised at, because definitely in my youth,
Aye.
I would have probably scrambled.
I remember when I was a wee boy actually tilting it to try and peek in.
See what was there.
But I was a...
Well, at least, did you always have a chocolate advent calendar?
Aye.
So,
You wouldn't have done? No
chance.
You'd a proper holy
we were
one.
waiting to see what shepherd it was and
Right.
all the rest of it in the big countdown.
Oh, good. It's a wee picture of Galilee. Brilliant.
Aye.
Just for you, just what a 10-year-old wants for Christmas. But so it's actually no Stu's birthday yet. When is it, Stu? Next week? A week today. Oh, brilliant. Right, we'll do the big happy birthday to you a week today. We'll sing on air and everything.
Live cake.
But we had a great party. Vicky Black was there.
It was brilliant to see Vicky.
Friend
I
of
had
the
her
pod.
daughter Grace as
I
well.
love the Grace too. So it was brilliant.
Aye, it was extremely good, man.
Aye.
Very wholesome, wasn't it?
Seen a lot of Stu. Stu was in doing some work with my wife as well on Thursday, taking photos. She's actually asked me if there's any previews, Stu. Tonight. There you go, Mel. I told you I would ask, and I've asked. Anyway, enough of that jabber. Friday night, we're through 3-2, a game for the ages, a real roller coaster. Big crowd in, atmosphere for it was brilliant. I thought, loved the pubs. It was a really good buzz. I was there. The pyramid was really good. Felt you had the big game feel. Loads and loads of different folk in, which was great. So I was a big fan of the occasion. Really liked it. Loved the result. Delighted. I wasn't enamoured by the performance, but maybe that's just me. Your take on the victory over Ayr, Cal?
Well, I'm probably, and I'm not just saying this because I'm 30 and all that, but I'm probably more on your side than against, if I'm being honest, because you know that there are plenty of folk that would have been stone cold sober watching it, but again, you were obviously had a few pints, part of that experience. I was stone cold sober working at it, and I was getting really, really frustrated when I was sitting. Because again, like, I'm still openly, we obviously get asked the question, didn't we, for Stevie Donachie about my kind of match day experience with the Chronicle. But no, I was like, that was the toughest game yet to cover. Celtic game was hard with regards to like emotionally because I hate Celtic. I hate Ayr United, but no anywhere near to the same degree as covered in the Patreon last week. But you're really like, because you're like, this is the equivalent of like, you're like covering like a European game or something like that, because it does feel like there's so much more at stake. Like if it was Summerlin in the cup or something, I would have been like, obviously one kill it to win, we'll come and talk about it. But I was really, I couldn't settle, man.
No,
I couldn't settle. And I was, the first half in particular, like I was actually getting quite wound up, man. And that's me stone cold sober, and again working at it, and I've tried to put a different kind of hat on to watch it. But again, to summarise all in, I think that we did deserve the victory in the end. I think the last 25 minutes in particular, we were good. But other than that, I'm just not really seeing. I honestly thought I was watching a different game to a lot of people, because in folks' opinions who I respect a lot in football as well. I'm not trying to let, again, folk will think that I talk a lot of shit about football, but I didn't buy that we were in control. I thought Ayr United were comfortable. I know that we dominated the ball, but Ayr were letting us do that. That was part of their game plan. And I thought first half in particular, I'd go as far as saying I thought we were shocking first half. But again, we don't get the chance. Like Hugo, a bit of quality, really gives us a lifeline to think, right, here we go. Come out at half time and it'll be different, and then we give ourselves a mountain to climb again. And when Ayr scored that, I was like, we'll not come. Well, I'm worried about coming back for this. But as I put in my match report, I think when O'Hara came on and we changed the system to a 4-4-2, it completely changed the game. And their goalie thereafter then made 2 or 3 really good saves. Really good saves. But before that, we didn't work him.
No.
Didn't work him at all. And I was pretty disappointed with that. But again, because I'm conscious that I'm keeping going on here, and I'll obviously let you come in. That can happen. Like, again, I'm not disputing that, and it's in the manner in which we won it was brilliant as well. Like, to go and do that when we weren't at our best, and Ayr United would have been gutted going down the road by everything that they put into it. So to beat them in that, like, you take that. Like, still tell you, I know you take a win any day of the week, and I'm not disputing that. But the thing that is the big concern to me is that we haven't learned any lessons from the St Johnstone and Celtic games. That's the big thing for me. I'm like, and we've got a really good question about whether if it was 1-0, would there be a different perspective on it? And I think there would. That's a brilliant question. But that is the case, because I'm like, we were still so open, we looked so vulnerable every time we gave the ball away, particularly first half, not throughout the entire game. Even when we equalise, Ayr have got a brilliant chance to go up 3-2 again, because we just we're so vulnerable every time we give the ball away. So the big frustration for me was, I'm again delighted that we're through. Deserved in the end with the chances created and all the rest of it, but I don't. All the frailties that were there in the first 2 league games were evident again, and we didn't get punished because we weren't playing against as good a team.
Aye, well, that's my take on it, mate. Ultimately, the better players won the game in the end. I didn't think we were in control of the game. I thought it was every time Ayr got it, and they done it twice and should have done it more than that. Like, I thought they're just cutting us open at will here. To be fair, I think the second goal, the boy takes it beautifully, man.
It's a brilliant finish.
Really, really, really good goal. But although we had the ball and we had the quality in the end, I don't think we had control of the game. I felt like Ayr were containing us and quite happy for us to have it really well. I thought they'd set up brilliantly. That being said, again, a big atmosphere in there, mate. They brought a brilliant crowd down, hats off to them, and made a lot of noise. It looked absolutely nuts when they scored the goals, man. I was quite jealous of things like that. So the hats off, and they look really well organised. I think they've got a good manager. And again, credit goes to Kelly, because I totally agree with you. When we changed it, when O'Hara came on, I thought, right, now we're letting the better players play the game here. I just felt like we were just overcomplicated it a wee bit again, and I'd said that to you on Saturday. I'm like, when you've got better players than a team, like, you win 90% of the time. We ended up doing that, which is absolutely tremendous. But I'm with you. I just feel like there doesn't seem to be many lessons getting learned, which worries me. I think it's a really good thing we've got another week, because we're obviously in talks, and you can almost confirm really that it's happening. Boy McCarthy for Hull.
Yep.
It's a centre half.
Aye, Gaby's put a piece out again and a wee insight into what he's likely to offer. So, but that looks like that'll be done, and I think maybe announced by the time that folk are listening to us, if no, tomorrow at some point.
Aye, so there you go. I mean, that'll help. He's only 19, but played first team football for Hull last season when they got promoted, so there's obviously a good standard there.
North Forest have tried to get him 7 figures in the summer there as well.
Right, so their Forest are in for him, so he's obviously a player, right? Again, you're hoping he's more in the mould of the Christopher Ayers of the world, Luke Chambers, young guys that have come in and really just improved the team straight away. So that's something, and I think that's still what we're badly needing. It's maybe all just down to this system. We don't have the players that are ready to play it. That being said, we did get the job done. Hugo's goal's a cracker. He's a very, very good player. I thought Shoning Larsson, it's a brilliant goal, and he's really now showing his quality and potentially one that could maybe make us a bit of money, I think. Klitschenko, it's a great finish. I was being a miserable bastard though. I never even moved with the equaliser, to be fair. I was sitting on my wee bit in the West End like that, and the squad, if they jumping about me, I'm just like tapping my legs. The last time I done that was Ash Taylor scoring against Arbroath.
Aye.
I was like, so I suppose from my perspective,
what did you do at the third goal?
I was kind of angry, but I wrote in the forums that I never felt an ounce of happiness. I wasn't kidding. I wasn't happy. I was relieved, and I was like, "Oh fuck, man!" But I wasn't jumping about delirious. I just wasn't. I was when we equalised, because I was like, "We'll kick on now." But so from my perspective, plenty to be positive about. We're through, and we've got a winnable game next. Again, I thought Lowry, what a football player, mate. I'm very keen. Hugo's there doing what he seems to be doing. I thought Ring, when he's playing further for it, so much better. So definite positives for me. But if you're taking it as a game of football, us being a Premier League team who have got designs on finishing top 6 probably for the chat, to be playing a team who will be fairly happy to finish the top half of the Championship. If that's Wraith, mate, right, or if it's, I don't know, Inverness, I think you're annoyed because you just about get over the line. So from a football perspective, I wasn't massively pleased. There were flashes of quality, and it was a great occasion. That's my takeaway. And on we go, mate.
On we go. But I think that, because at the risk of, again, I've said what I've had to say on it, I stand by it. But again, I don't want to be too doom and gloom after obviously winning a derby, which is huge, and that'll be one that will live long in the memory for the occasion that it was, and in the manner in which we won it, and rightly so. But for credit, I think the fact that we bounced back twice is a huge sign.
That's a great sign.
Shows that the mentality's there, because the pressure is on. You know what I mean? The pressure's always on us in an Ayrshire derby, and when we're nowhere near at it, to then in Ayr, particularly first half, honestly, I think it could have been up 2.5 at half time, and I wouldn't have really had many complaints. So to bounce back again with a bit of quality for Hugo, and then for Ayr to then score again, you're thinking this just hasn't got to be all night like that. That was what was going through my head. So then to do that, and I think the minute we equalised, I was confident that we would win it as well.
Aye, I felt that too, to be fair. You could feel the whole atmosphere did change. I actually the last 10-15 minutes, I thought, right, we're kicking on here. I was quite impressed with, I would have probably started with one now, which seems mad because I don't think many folk were saying that, although there were a few. But a bit of pace in behind him and Hugo, just get physicality and just make it a simple game. I think that's what we were lacking, because if we'd done that, I feel like we would have probably steamrolled them.
He's lightning quick as well.
Aye.
It's one that I know that McCann was very excited about when we got him, which again maybe wouldn't have stood out when you think again. He's obviously, that's the kind of players that we should be trying to hoover up, but the pedigree beforehand. But again, it wasn't like he really done anything with regards to shots or that, but I liked the way he carried himself. He did look like he gave us a completely different dimension. And again, I'm weighing that. I think that he's one that again, as the season goes on, he'll get more and more minutes. But aye, it's a huge win, and although I was really, again, the defensive side of the game just wasn't there. We didn't look comfortable at all, and we really needed that. I thought to go out and put a statement. And again, nobody's expecting that. It would have been great to go and beat Ayr United 5-0, but when's that ever really happened? You know what I mean? In a game of any sort of magnitude. But I think that I would have been delighted with kind of 2-0 and just looking very assured.
Just looking like the better team.
Aye. And it wasn't the case. Don't get me wrong, again, from a neutral point of view, folk would have loved it. It was a proper cup tie. But it's just more for the fact that I just don't buy that we were in total control of the game. I thought Ayr, and I know they get beat, it doesn't remind us, we were there and we're in the next round, and that is all that matters, frankly. But I genuinely thought for probably about 60-70 minutes, Ayr their game plan was down to a T, to be honest. They let us have the ball, and we didn't, particularly first half, we just didn't do a lot with it. Again, there was some good passages of play. You could see what we were trying to do, but we couldn't break through. And then we eventually get the ball wide. We're putting balls into the box, and John Jules is hanging about the edge of the box or deep, and we're like, we need better strikers in there if we're getting the ball wide. But again, I think that it will be a turning point. I do believe that. I think that we needed the win. And again, maybe you do learn a bit more for the mentality, the fact that we kept having to come back, and you can't underestimate how much credit we do deserve for that. But I'm just like, I'm really hoping that is the thing that kickstarts us, because it wasn't pretty, and we could have easily come out of that. Like, we could easily not be in the next round of the cup. But again, you've got to take that into it, and the week break suits us. And then we've got a good record against Dundee United, and if you go there and you beat Dundee United at home, you're thinking, right, perfect, here we go, and the wins are starting to change.
Can kick on. But bottom line is, we beat Ayr 3-2, and it was like you say, particularly maybe for younger fans, a real night to get their teeth into, and that hook that maybe folk need to become a regular game goer kind of thing. So full credit, and again, plenty of signs that are positive. In terms of the quality in the team, I think is definitely there, and you seen that with a couple of the goals, but maybe even all three of the goals. Klishenko's finish is cracking to do that too, although he's a wee bit fortunate maybe to get it in the first place. But the defence, but again, we're no breaking any news here. Everybody can see that there's issues there defensively, and that's both as individuals and the structure. It just leaves you so open to counter attacks, which we've seen every game, and again we saw it again the other day, which is a wee concern. I've not seen the first goal back yet. At the time, I thought Stryek could have maybe done better. Am I been too harsh?
No, you're not been too harsh. That is a big concern. Again, there was so many shades it reminded me of Celtic, even the side that it came down. Again, it's obviously a completely different goal, where, by the way, the ball hits the back of the net with a free header in the Celtic game. But I think that there's a catalogue of errors once again. I think that again, the ball out to Brandon's no ideal, and then Brandon's ball back in is a hospital pass. Out of position, he tries to dive in to win it back, doesn't he? But the concern for me was when McMahon gets the ball on the left, there's just no pressure on him. Like, he's got time to sit, and he's always had a good left foot. We've seen that before. Bends it in, and fair play to the boy for Dundee United. I thought he looked good. I thought their front two were brilliant.
Is that the blonde guy? Aye, he did look busy, didn't he?
And he just wanted it more. Like, simple as that. Like, the ball came in, and it was like, I'm getting on the end of that. And you need that, and he does well to divert it on target, because it's not an easy thing to do, but Shryack's got to save it. He gets a hand to it, and it's not a strong enough hand. And at the time, I thought he's got to do better for the second, but upon seeing it back,
it's a brilliant goal.
It's a brilliant finish, and you just can't do anything about that, and credit where it's due. But I think the Shryack had to do better.
But the John Jules thing, he's no seeing very much so far, because I remember you saying last week that's a night for him just to show that he's got a bit of extra in terms of who he's playing. A day Ross Montgomery texted me and was like, he's like a bodybuilder, he like needs to lose weight, and I'm like, I was on here defending him like 4 weeks ago. I'm like, no, he doesn't, let the boy cook, man, he's fine. But his mobility's no great, so that's why I was more impressed when we put Owen on.
Gave us that different dimension.
Just that bit more physicality, weirdly.
And I don't know whether it was a Niv that I was talking to, but I know a few folk have said it, but I'm like, it feels like, and I think that it will eventually kind of click with Hugo and John Jules, and we even, let's be honest, before the injury, I mean, they only played about an hour next to each other, worth of football. No, it was more than that, like, just short of a game and a half type thing. But I think that we're kind of shoehorning them into this system now. And I think that, and I don't think it's actually getting the best out of Hugo now either. And I think that going forward, I would play like 4-2-3-1, Kilty the 10, Hugo up top. But it's a shame, because again, I think there was a few decent touches for Jules again, and you're thinking, right, here we go. He's maybe getting up to speed, but
just on the fringes of the game, mate. Again, but again, he has shown he's definitely deserving to stick with him, I think, because he's shown that he has got the quality. But I agree with the Hugo thing too. I think for a guy who's that quick, and whose touch is that good, there's got to be more balls in behind for him. Like, I know we're what to play. And by the way, that's one thing you can't critique, we can about. The games are 100 times better, mate. Like, that's hands up. Aye, you're maybe getting a wee bit stressed about how we're defending, and sometimes the plays maybe slightly overcomplicated for my liking, but the games as a whole are night and day to what they were like at Christmas. Kind of, we were just like, it was not only we were losing, but
you're just getting through the
motions. Shite games of football. So the games are good. There's no doubt about that. But I think, Hugo, I'm a bit like, again, this is obviously, mate, very, very low level analysis. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm like, somebody to be running into channels and laying things off and go longer to him because he's got that back in he's like a gazelle, mate. He's quick, and I think that was scared defenders, and then you're getting the likes of Kilty, who I said to you on Saturday, he's the archetype to pick up bits from about a striker. That's why I would prefer to see Hugo up top and just and maybe Kilty behind him, depending on what the system goes, because I think they two guys are on form, and that's where a lot of the joy is coming for going for it anyway.
I think that's the one thing that will take, because for all we're talking about John Jones and thinking, right, we really need them to get up to speed. Hugo's not great, like, and more so today we can't get into the games, but he scored a goal out of nothing, and it's a brilliant finish, man. Like, again, you can't underestimate how good a finish that was at the time, like, and just out of absolutely nothing.
Just quality, mate. Just a quality football player.
And again, he obviously scored up at St Johnstone and Elgin as well, so you're thinking, right, you're talking about him not being at his best, but before we saw from towards the end of last season, where you're like, this guy is a cut above, and he still well and truly is a cut above. But that's the one thing that I can take for it, is that he's not even up to the standard that we know that he's capable of, and he's still scoring goals.
It's a great sign, innit? Very good. But aye, so a victory, mate, and again, big
scoring good goals,
big crowd, and we're through. One that will live for a long time in the memory. Aberdeen in the cup, so you're through at the quarterfinals. You're looking Celtic play Rangers, which is obviously a big help. Then obviously you're avoiding Hibs and Hearts away for obvious reasons. I know our records get up at Hearts, but still know what you're wanting in a quarterfinal of a cup. And then you're thinking, right, so we want a home tie. Obviously you'd rather have had the Goth. That would have been the best laugh. And then Steny, who are doing incredibly well, but obviously a championship team. But then it's probably the best draw you could have hoped for him to Aberdeen, who are very, very hit and miss. And I would imagine that'll be another televised one, potentially, given the kick-off time. You're maybe getting a big crowd in there again. We had a chance to play at Hampden, man. It's a really good opportunity to make this something memorable.
Well, I'm not sure whether, again, because Radio Scotland's coverage, because I didn't watch the draw, I was listening to the radio, and it was appalling what they missed the draw. I seen it all coming through in the chat, and they were still interviewing fucking Craig McLeish, man, after getting beat 5-1 for Rangers. I'm like, what's going on? But I think they said there's only 2 televised games this round.
Right, okay. Right.
It's strange, because I don't know whether the last one there was talk of that was supposed to be, but because of Kelly Air, they like
they pushed the boat out. Right, I get you.
So whether it would be the 2, and obviously the Old Firm will be 1, and then another one you'd maybe imagine Hearts going to Steny or whatever. But we'll wait and see. That remains to be seen, and hardly the most important element of this. But I think that anybody at home, like, you give yourself a chance, but particularly when it is a winnable tie. But Aberdeen will be fancying their chances as well.
They will.
They've I know that they seem to have maybe cut back in the money that was been spent initially with the kind of new project, kind of post McInnes, but they're still signing guys that would walk into our team, and they obviously took Lewis Mayo and Brad Lyons, but we've said enough about that at the time. So I think that it's definitely a winnable game, and one, it's a great opportunity to get us back to Hampden with something that we've both wanted. Cup records appalling, pound for pound. We've said it time and time again. So I think it's one that you've got to be positive about. And in an ideal world, it would be Steny or Ross County at home, but Aberdeen at home when they're hit or miss, and a game that they'll kind of fear. If we can go and beat Dundee United, but the thing I don't like playing them back to back. But in a way that'll maybe suit us, because that's what happened the last time when we played them in the cup. Remember when Neil Warnock beat us, we battered them at Robbie Park the week before, and then we went up to Pittodrie, and it's even been shown there, because this is my war cry every time this happens. But obviously Dundee comfortably beat them last weekend, and then Aberdeen just went and hammered them in the cup there. So again, I would definitely take a defeat at Pittodrie, because I think that gives us more a chance of You just want to see performance, man.
We spoke about this a few weeks ago. Somebody asked me, would you take a defeat in both the St Johnstone and Celtic games to go and beat Ayr? 100%. And getting, so it's in, 2 games time? You're playing Aberdeen at home in a quarter final. That covers a multitude of sins, mate. If we can get through to Hampden, it keeps everything. You've got that forward momentum all the time, and you can absorb a few defeats. We're not going to go and win the league anyway. There's plenty of time to recover it. But if you maybe don't get the points you're looking for, you maybe go and get a heavy defeat somewhere. If you've got that semi-final in the distance, it keeps the atmosphere up. It keeps the kind of positive vibe rolling. So I think that, to me, it's an absolutely huge game, because not only have you got the opportunity in front of you to get to Hampden, but one of the Old Firm are out. So the chances are you get to Hampden and you don't play one of them. So then you're looking at potentially a cup final. And again, that for a club like Kelly, whose record is so shite in the cups, it's a game changer. And it's a game changer for McCann and a game changer for his philosophy, because it's like buy-in. We did get beat 4-3 to St Johnstone. We're going to concede 60 goals. But we're in a cup final. It's like so. It's a huge game in the distance already. So I'm quite excited about that one.
Aye, and again, I think you've summarised that well. And it's one that we should be looking forward to, because it's absolutely winnable. And for as much as we're saying there about Aberdeen, but again, I can't see them pulling up many trees this season with regards to that. Like, I think that they'll probably be in and around where we're like.
They're a direct competitor for me this year, Aberdeen. I agree with that.
And I think that if you're no fancying yourself in a home game, again, if it was at Pittodrie, it'd be a complete other. I'd be like, again, still winnable, but it's you're really up against it. But at home like that, with the prospect of going to Hampden again, you absolutely take it.
100%, man. Right. Okay, no game to preview this weekend. It's obviously been shit canned because the High Bees are in Europe. Who are they playing? You know, Genk, Belgium.
Oh, aye, so it is.
No game to preview. So Kelly free weekend for everybody. I think there's a question about that, what everybody's getting up to. But we'll go over and answer all your questions on the X and on the KillyFC.com forums as soon as we've had some messages from our very valued sponsors. Allied Surveyors have been carrying out valuations and home reports across Ayrshire and in Kilmarnock for over 20 years. Company director and lifelong Kelly fan Nick Davis is based here at 91 John Finney Street and is here to help you if you've got any questions or queries or are looking to get your home sold.
Hi, I'm Jim from Gemmell's Van Sales. We're a family-run business based down in Home Quarry Road in Kilmarnock. This business was started over 7 years ago from our house in Belfield, where I sold vans, and we gradually grew upon year. We supply all makes and models, from small, medium and large, to transit tippers, to 4x4s, to Luton vans. If we don't have something in stock that you're looking for, we would be more than happy to source it for you as well. So if you're in the market for a van, drop down and see us at Home Quarry Road, or give us a call in Kilmarnock 01563 657 870, or drop us a message on any of our social media platforms.
A huge thanks to Nick Davis at Allied Surveyors. Pop into his office on John Finney Street. You can get a chat to him if you're looking to get anything sold or valued. Met him on Friday night.
Where?
In the
just in the stand.
Frank Beattie stand.
When I was obviously, I had my season ticket and sitting with my dad, I would always bump into Nick on the way in. But I either pop into his office or just drop him a voice note, man.
Right, and
voice notes are
and
the
prepared
best.
to be entertained. And Jim Gemmell at Gemmell's Van Sales, local business. Jim was at the Killie game as well on Friday night.
Good.
Supporting the club. So huge thanks to two gentlemen of the game who have done massive things to help this podcast keep on rolling, baby, as Limp Bizkit famously said. You know what time it is. Right, you ready? Out at the KillyFC.com forums.
Tune, man.
Killie Kettle says weekly call for questions and our points. Can you not get that on its own forum, Jink?
Aye, because we've not addressed this, haven't we?
Somebody was wanting it moved because it was annoying them.
It was bizarre, wasn't it? It's like, really, like, I was a bit.
We're not here to take part, maybe here to take over.
Aye, sometimes I can be a bit thin-skinned when it comes to like criticism of whatever.
Your flip-flops and all that.
No, I can take that every day of the week. Of the pod, of which there has been very little, but I'm like, what's that guy agreeing about? And a few folk were, at least he kind of get called out, and folk were like, Mate, if that's what you've got to worry about, Ken, what the?
Well,
Ken, you just don't click
life.
on the thread, mate.
It is quite easily avoidable. Right, here we go. LS18312 gets in touch to say, do you think we will see a shift away from the diamond? Our best defensive games under McCann came at home to Hearts when we made a flat 4 in midfield with Watson playing right wing. O'Hara or Ring or Lowry could play here to provide stability. And what would your lineup be for Dundee United?
I don't think that we will ditch the diamond, but I would play 4-2-3-1 as stated.
Aye. Who would you play? Who's your 4? Worried about Brandon at right back. I'd coming to the end of that cycle, I think, already. Despite
the wonderful goal we did, and again you referenced him a couple of times, but again we could do a whole separate thing on Sean Larson, and he really epitomises the system.
Yes, he does.
Whereby he looks brilliant going forward, but defensively just nothing there. But that's
who he reminds me as a player? Philip Lam.
Aye,
also known the same standard, but I just feel like that was what Philip Lam was like. Dead, kind of adventurous. I feel like he should have a wee, like a twig, kind of like a big stick with like a towel where he's stuff in the back, like Dick Whittington. He's like going on an adventure up that park, man. Do you know what I mean? He's away to discover new worlds up there, wee Mick. And the other night that's what it reminded me.
VMSL.
The way Lamb used to play.
What a compliment that is. And see, the thing is, despite me saying about the defensive frailties, that's fine, but you just need something to counter it. Can let him bomb up, because that's absolutely fine if we've got something in place to cover the space in which he's departed. But no, so that needs readdressed. But what I think will eventually happen is I think that Meyer will come in to left back, and Sean Larson will play right back.
Right. And who do you think the centre half pairing will be eventually?
These and
this new boy.
The new boy.
And then Tish is going to play, Lowry has to play, Kilty has to play. To me, Ring should be playing.
I would say so, and it gives you that physicality as well. So I would go Ring, and then it kind of leaves the space open. And
Klashenko maybe sometimes.
I mean, that could easily be altered.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
But to answer the question, the preferred lineup, I think there's quite a lot of water to flow under the bridge between now and then, so it'll be very interesting. It'd be great to have Meyer in the team in this new centre half. Let's see what happens. LH31 gets in touch. Should the club prescribe CAMS if we're persevering with this gung-ho philosophy? You can get stronger stuff than CAMS prescribed now, LH31. Legally. Well done to the team getting kept ahead and got through. Nice to enjoy a rowdy atmosphere with no mention of 16th century battles or mocking the death of ex-managers and players on the opposing side. What do you mean?
I know.
What could you possibly be talking about?
Give us more of that, man.
Bullock got in touch, friend at Pod. Thoughts on Max so far? I thought he should have done better with both goals against Ayr, and he was at fault for 2 against Celtic and 2 in Perth as his confidence shot.
A word for Bullock, who also got engaged recently.
Did he?
So in a
congratulations.
He was disappointed that we didn't mention it in the podcast.
Sorry, man.
So I'm really sorry. And I believe was both Bullock and Laurie on BBC the weekend.
They were on the beep, mate. I was on Friday night too with Jane Lewis.
So you were. I've not had the chance to listen back to either, but they're obviously two good
They'll have
guys.
represented the club very well, I'm sure. So we kind of touched on the Max thing. The point about concerned about Max.
If anybody deserves a bit of leeway, it's him.
And I think that's the type of keeper he is. I don't think he's not going to end up getting 100 caps for Poland or anything. He's going to have dips. And the issue is you've got a backup who has a fairly decent pedigree. So I wonder when the time comes that if a Ferry gets a go.
Which is what I like that, and again, credit, we keep going on about the lack of centre halves, particularly experience that have been signed, but again, I think that's actually a signing because of what we suffered last year that is, again, deserves enormous credit because that's exactly what you need. Somebody relatively experienced, when called upon, that can come in and do a job, and you're not ultimately, playing with a man doing, which we found in some occasions last season. But no, I think that Max, again, he was a hero in the because somebody was criticising his penalty shootout at Peterhead, I think, but I'm like that. But then he saved 2 penalties in the Wraith Rovers game. I'm like, so you can't always have it all your own way. But I think that Max, he just needs a bit of confidence, and that will only come through clean sheets.
He also asks, Tish seems to slower play down compared to Mini Esther, which is obviously Tom Lowry. We look far more solid with O'Hara sitting deep at the time he started the games. Clearly isn't as quick as he used to be, but seems like he could do the dicker role better than Tish. Tish he's no set the heather on fire, unfortunately.
It's funny after what I was just saying when I was listening to the team, because of the new boy signing, I'm ultimately thinking that he'll go and play centre half, but I would still, even though O'Hara changed the game in the middle of the park, I would just get him minutes in the back line some way. But I think that after he's changed the game against Ayr, that he's got to start. But the same way, Tish needs minutes in order to get the best out of him for catch 22.
Proved last year how important he was. Tough one. Paddy says, after a pulsating derby, both clubs and supporters made it a great occasion. Put our derby firmly on the map. I find the atmosphere is far better at Rugby Park. It's a bigger crowd and it holds the noise compared to Somerset, which is very open. Question is, for a big game, Somerset or Rugby Park?
It's a good question. We've said so many times that I think that the 6,000 is all you really need in Rugby Park for it to really carry a good atmosphere, particularly with how strategic we've been with reducing the capacity and stuff like that. That's been made a massive difference. But I do like, again, I've seen us win at Somerset twice, which is almost spoiled because we've got a terrible record there, but I think that I just love the kind of old school as well. And again, a Killier game, it's tasty when you're like, Somerset, because there's no gimmies at all. And I think that that's the one, even though you're really up against it, but that's like your Scottish Cup. Well, as we touched on in the Patreon last week, that's your ultimate Scottish Cup, 4th round in January, Gale, it's Somerset. What about you?
I lean towards Rugby Park, but maybe because I just got scarred for Somerset now. I'm bad enough, mate, at Rugby Park. I get too annoyed. I was losing my shit. Honestly, about 7 or 8 minutes into the game, I was like doing that high-pitched, Doug's only squealing at McCann. So, just Rugby Park for me, mate. And just go to the games. I just need to go to the games myself and just sit and watch the game and go home. That's what I need to start doing, man. Scouser says, we have offensive qualities to open up most teams. We need to fix our known and much talked about issues with the 2-week break. Hopefully McCann and his coaching staff analyse the types of goals we're losing. Be open to change and find workable solutions. Well, my worry is that he will be stubborn. DMC says, do you guys have an opinion on Brandon being ironically cheered off from a large section of the crowd? No doubt was having a shocker, but hoped our fans would at least have allowed him to leave the pitch with dignity.
So I'm hoping that you can confirm this. When he took off, I heard the cheers and I was like, oh God, come on, what are we doing? But then I looked and it was like Ayr United fans that were all up, and as they would, that would be us, like somebody get hooked, so I was like, there maybe was for Kelly, but was it sizable? Was there them doing about you?
I never even noticed it, mate.
No?
Nah.
Right, you were in a different stratosphere.
I wasn't happy at the time, yeah. But no, I can't say I remember him getting cheered, booed or anything, to be honest. It was definitely right call taking him off because he was struggling, and I thought eventually we'd go a bit better, but
10 boys for McCann to do that.
You should never it's only know him, mate. It's not like he's had 10 bad games in a row or something like that. Guys only played.
No, exactly. So if you did do that, then it was unacceptable.
Aye.
But in the same way,
be nice.
Aye, exactly.
Isn't it? Costs nothing to be kind.
It doesn't, mate. It doesn't. But again, I'm conscious I don't want to make a big deal of it in case, because when I heard it, I went, oh no. But then I was like, well, we're 3,000 Ayr fans, and they're all up like as you would. So I'm like, I don't know whether that's inflated, whatever it was.
Alan gets in touch. What's your thoughts on McCann's interview with Jonathan Sutherland? Feel like he's very arrogant and he gives me the feel that he isn't bothered about the defence.
I wasn't. When I heard that, I was like, oh come on, man. I was like, and again, folk are, because I've seen folk arguing about it to be like, oh, we've just won a derby and that's all, but it's not like Watson led with that kind of. It was a fair interview, like, talking about how great the night was, and then that was like towards the end. I'm like, it's a perfectly legitimate question to ask, and again, because there were defensive frailties again, but that shows you how tough it is, and shows you how much a shite bag am. That getting faster than that, he would chew me up, man. Eat me for breakfast, man. Never mind with Jonathan Sutherland, he's mates with.
Aye,
can he work in sports scene with him? Like, literally mates with him. So. I am just a bit like, and I get the way, and it's an emotional game in that, but you could even make a joke at it, but come on, like kind of thing. But like, we've just won, but it did seem a bit nippy. But I'm no surprised.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
I don't think that's the way to answer that question, mate. I just think it makes you look like you're on the edge. When I just think I don't have a massive issue with him being the words that he uses. It's the tone of it. It's really, really needlessly nappy. It's like you've conceded 11 goals in 3 games. Oh, you must be like slightly worried about that. To be honest, I'm worried about it. I'd much rather we won 3-0, but listen, I can't take it away for the boys in it. There you go. You turn this into a negative. Oh, fucking calm down, man. I just hate volatile folk like that. I'm like, oh my God, right? Poor guy, like, it's definitely a legit question. And it reminded me of the exchange you had with Tom English at the World Cup, which went viral because English was basically saying, rightly so, and whatever you think of Tom English, that when it got to the crunch, the McTominays, the McGinns, they weren't good enough to compete with Morocco and Brazil and all that, and that's where we're at. And McCann went into some diatribe about him disrespecting these guys that gave us these moments, and you're just a bit like, just sometimes he feels like you don't need to pick a fight there. You know what I mean? But
aye, no, I concur with that, and I think that, and I get it, there's so much emotion attached to it, particularly with the derby, but I'm just like, there was even a perfect chance for him to, as we said, like, either make a joke at it and like move on. But I just think, and the fact that it's no blown up on Twitter per se, but, and I can say, well, again, that team that shall be named, plenty of their fans and that, like, there's folk that aren't the Kelly fans that are talking about it on Twitter, you know what I mean?
Well, Mitch replied, said it was really interesting listening to the Motherwell manager after their game. The interview said, well, we've got the perfect game to move on to next. Obviously referring to Motherwell getting beat and playing Freiburg this week. The Well manager was having none of that or moving topic. He said that's not on his mind. We have to take the praise, but we also have to take the criticism, and that's what we're doing tonight. Seems like a good attitude to take.
Fair play, man.
Dargo86, hello team, hope you're doing well after the victory against them. A few questions. Should O'Hara be starting now? Change the game on Friday, covered that one. Favourite ever goal from an Ayrshire derby?
Probably I like Mackenzie's at Somerset.
Yeah, that was good. And
especially like that was us doing that to them. A minute on the clock and you're up 1-0 and it completely set the tone.
Mate, boring. Dean Shields for me, boring.
Aye, well the weight of that goal.
Dylan Kerrs was a good one too. I like that. When he jumped into the midfield. He also asked links or slice or square.
Aye, because we get gypped for that.
People were annoyed.
Aye.
Rolled sausage, mate.
There's
Can I get a rolled sausage, please? What you want? Links or square? Square all day for me. Square is a delicacy.
Why not both?
We can have both.
We can have both. I like both, but it's weird. I prefer links in the house.
Right, okay.
Like if my mum was to cook links, or Alison, because I'm again conscious of me. I don't cook. It's better than getting it out of Brownings or something.
I would never get rolling links for Brownings.
But if I was out,
what about wee Wullie Winkies?
Rollins? No, come on.
No, you don't like wee Wullie Winkies?
Well, I probably do, but I'm not selling myself with that, man.
How is that, man?
Because I'm 30-year-old.
There's no age limit on wee Wullie Winkies.
I'll have to agree to disagree there.
Are you serious? You think they're child's food?
Get you trying to turn this into a negative, man.
I'm like Neil McCann here. I can't believe you've been negative about wee Wullie Winkies here.
But well, I like a proper pork sausage, man.
Oh my God, man. Vanilla Dijon gets in touch. Isn't it mental that we scored and conceded more goals in one game than we did in the entire group stage? I felt sick for the best part of 80 minutes, but it's all worth it in the end.
I think that's a good way to sum it up. Like,
I loved the shithousery of playing gypsies, tramps and thieves at full time. I had a hunch paper roses was going to get played to wind them up, but that was saved as I don't think Friday was a big enough occasion. Worst thing to come from the Summers World Cup wasn't just the price gouging or the barefaced corruption. It was the phrase that was like a basketball game that has entered the football lexicon. What's wrong with a good old fashioned? It was an end-to-end action, which Friday night was. What other phrases would you ban from Fitbit, and do we think Dodsley helped in creating the special South Indian garlic chicken curry pie? South Indian garlic chili chicken curry. I mean, that's...
Oh, that's a lot, isn't it?
Hold on a minute here.
South...
You can't one hand slag folk saying it's like a basketball game and then think it's alright to have a special South Indian garlic chili chicken curry pie at the Fitbit. You get a mince pie and a Tunnocks tea cake and you'll be thrilled to bits with it.
Nah, the mince pie can go.
Well, they're not great, but
No.
that does sound quite delicious though, to be fair to the Dijon himself.
It does sound good. But the basketball term, I'm guilty of that.
I'm guilty of it too. I feel bad that you said that. I think I've said that this weekend.
I literally had it in my St Johnson piece because it genuinely was, and it was like because. But is it maybe creeping in a bit? I've heard it time and time. I've heard it a lot, but I'm just a bit like, I think it's a fair way to sum it up, but it's also end to end.
Good old ding dong battle. What other phrases would you ban from Fitba?
It's one of them, and I've said it as well, but it's come up a few times. But like, somebody's like, he's hit it too well.
He's almost hit it too well. Aye.
Yeah, like you know exactly what they're saying, but you're like, well, if you hit it well, it would be in the back of the net. But it's too good a connection on it. Don't know, there's many different things. I hate
like all this. I mean, I despise the good with our work stuff. I hate like things like that, the high press and all that, and like I try to get the ball back.
Turnover
and all that. I can't be bothered with that. But again, I'm just getting old and crab at that. Is evident, man. I can't believe you don't like wee Wullie Winkies.
I don't know. I'll maybe go and try them again.
Fucking hell, man.
But it was like the last time that they were in my vicinity was when Amelia came to stay with me. And she's 5-year-old.
But they're class though. They are actually brilliant. You know, get with that. I'd add that to my fry up. Are we on for a wee Wullie Winkies, man? With brown sauce? You kidding me?
I'll need this. Yeah.
Tonight's podcast proudly sponsored by Wee Wullie Winkies. Get them now. Age limit, man. 19.99 like Lego. Right, Kelly Blues. Aldi Harvest Mall and cinnamon chips are a good replacement for Golden Grahams.
I'm going to try them, man. I will. Thank you for the suggestion.
What's your halftime snack of choice?
You're a fat, but probably has a pea in it, man.
I don't really eat at the fit.
No, nearly are, but
try not
I'd be like, right, I like a chicken cut.
I had a coffee on Friday night.
No, you didn't.
I did at the game, aye.
What did you have in it?
I just had coffee, mate, because I was up kind of that way. I was about an hour into it. I was about like, no, a pint for a couple of hours here. I'm flagging, so I went and get a coffee. And I would normally get like a Snickers or something like that.
I like Snickers or Kit Kat. It's like a Kit Kat Chunkies, like the best thing you can buy for like to really get you up to a level. It's like a good meal replacement.
Yeah. Why, Big D's Ginger Lorry? Why is the most satisfying way, or what is the most satisfying way to beat your local rivals? Pump them 5-0 or snatch victory from the jaws of defeat?
I think, to be fair, well, again, it would have been great to hammer them, right? But had we even done that, obviously I'd it. Particularly with what I'm conscious of what I said in the first half of this podcast, I would have rather beat them 5-0, right? Mm-hmm. To say, right, here we go, we're going. But for the opposition point of view, that must be the worst way.
Aye, that really stung.
Because they were as good as they could be against Kelly, and that would have been a horrible one going out the road. But it's one because you can totally relate to it. I mean, we've seen that against Rangers and Celtic, God knows how many times, where you're like, what? Like,
how did that happen?
Aye, and I think that that's the most gut wrenching for them. Aye.
Now that we've had proof that McCann's ball really is going to be a weekly attempt that we will score more than you, this is for Dillinger.
Basketball game.
What are your predictions for goals for and goals against at the end of the season? Last season it was 54 and 68 against.
Aye, well, I said that we would. I always remember the 05-06 season. There was a big thing about I think it was 63 goals we scored. We'll exceed that.
Aye.
Without doubt.
I said 60-60 at the start of the season. A nil goal difference, 64 and 60 against. I'm just going to stick with that.
Well, I would take that the way things have gone.
Aye, that would actually be probably turn out to be quite a good
that would mean
performance.
We would potentially finish in the top 6, and we would comfortably stay off if that was our goal difference.
Confidemus 1869, Confidemus 1869. Happy Victory Monday, lads. So over the moon we defeated Ayr. It would have been a right shit 2 weeks until the next game. Nice to see both in the pyramid. I still think we need an experienced centre back. Was going to mention McCann, but as seen it's been asked previously, the interview stuff. How do you say that in Gaelic?
Oh, no, well, it's you that can. Sam will tell you. I would just say Kilmarnock, but it's no that.
Kilmarnock.
Well done, you said Gaelic this week.
Well, that's a step in the right direction. For me, Tish and Lowry are our two best actual footballers. There's a fly in here, by the way. I'm not just...
You're impersonating Neil McCann's presser last week. I see him do that.
Nah, I don't watch press. With O'Hara coming on and doing so well against Ayr and him offering something we don't have, why are we persisting in a formation that doesn't get the most out of our 3 influential players in the park together? Is it arrogance from McCann or just an inability to change? You've also been handed the keys to the pyramid. What 4 beers, ciders and stouts are you putting on tap, and what bar snack? Interesting point. Be great. I think it'd be great to get O'Hara, Tish and Lowry in the team, man. We'll see. Right, 4 beers. Well, what's the tap?
No, well, just actually the three of them, like, what a brilliant three in midfield.
Bit of everything there.
It does,
for me.
it completely
Bit of
covers
everything.
you and all, but then like Kilty then drops out if that's your free in midfield, and
Exactly.
and I'm not just saying this, but he's undroppable.
Aye.
I thought on Friday again he looked like a captain again. He was getting folk going, and credit to him. But aye, the real question here is again, you'll disagree with me, but you need a
You go with tennis in there.
you need
with
a
tenants.
There's nothing more insulting, man, being in Scotland and going somewhere and they don't sell tenants. I think it's appalling actually.
Right.
And I've been in a few places. Well, Park Hotel for one. Well, that'll no change, hopefully.
Oh, will it?
Well, they've got draft at the hospitality again.
Oh, it looked lovely. The Guinness looked revolting, to be honest. But rather a revolting pint. No, I don't think I mean that actually, and I'd rather no bother when it comes to Guinness.
Aye.
Didn't look good.
But, right, so tenants and Guinness are taken up too.
Right.
No cider and draft.
No need for it.
Nah, get the fuck.
Not for me anyway.
Can take a can of Strongbow at the fridge if you want it.
Aye.
But here's where it gets tasty, man. I would go, obviously, Spanish. Definitely not Amstel, as discussed. I'd love a Dorada or something like that.
Dorada.
But would it really suit the pyramid?
No, it wouldn't.
Because you need sunlight for Dorada.
You do.
But it's a beautiful pint.
I think the pyramid would, but desperately needs a Furstenberg or something like that. See, like
That would be a good
a
Furstenberg,
proper
aye.
German European.
See, that's the difference about what I think would be a brilliant pint and or what suits the pyramid.
Aye, aye.
So I know, right, I would go that, or like a kind of Czech.
A
like,
Czech, aye, a Budvar or something would be
Aye.
class, wouldn't it? Obviously, I'm into the Spanish myself. Like the Mau is obviously my favourite.
Sapporo.
So Sapporo would be lovely, aye, something like that. So aye, good. There's plenty of options out there. And what's the best bar snack?
And I think the pyramid has got it.
Aye,
Nobby's nuts.
Nobbies, man.
Chilies, man.
Lovely.
Chili flavoured.
Prestel says, is the Ayrshire Derby better every 4 or 5 years, or would you rather be in the same league and get it 3-4 times a season?
Every 4 or 5 years. As much as it, like, folk
Totally
think
agree.
that's the good thing, but that's what makes it all the more special.
Barbino, why are we so weak from kick-off? What can be done to address it? Is it worth getting a sports psychologist? Somebody's brought that up before. And also, what's your favourite milkshake?
Chocolate milkshake.
Chocolate.
Nah.
This is the guy here who thinks he's too mature to eat wee Wullie Winkies, but he wants a big chocolate milkshake.
Well,
That's a baby's thing, man.
what's the alternative then?
Banana.
Come on.
Banana Yazoo. No, mine is, I actually like vanilla milkshake.
Again, I would have it with a gun to my head, aye, but
Drink that, and eat the fucking sausages and all. You're like, "Alright, well, I've known these for years." The kick-off thing is weird, mate, and it does seem to be happening on the reg.
well, that's
which is
the
a concern.
point I made in the thread where you were having your meltdown. I kind of tried to half stick up for you.
Thanks.
And I said that like that is now, it's no an anomaly. It's a trend.
It's
like
the trend.
we're conceding goals, and it was the same last season.
Yes.
So there's something no happening, because everybody's capable of that one half thinking, right, what we got to sell into, but that's now like happening every other week, or
Too
in some
often.
instances every week.
Too often. Changing Man says, do we still need an experienced centre half?
Yes,
But
but we're not signing one. So
on Friday night, both Stanger and Dees had to do a lot of 1v1 defending and cover a lot of ground that doesn't suit them. Still think we need some more experienced in there, but I have a feeling McCann won't see that at centre half. Alan says, Max up the tunnel quickly at full time on Friday. In the huff, or was he away for a jobby? I'll ask that at the next presser. KFC Super Team says, do you think if we'd won 1-0 rather than 3-2, the perception would be different? We kind of covered that at the
great
start,
point.
man.
I agree with that.
Basically, if the game plays out the exact same, except Stryek saves both their goals, both Hugo and Larson miss, and Klashenko scores in the winner in the 89th minute, it changes it. And he's right, it does.
It definitely does. Again, I would still be like a bit concerned that
Aye.
we were giving up that many chances if it was exactly the same manner. But you take the clean sheet because you're like, right, we've got that now. Let's kick on, and it would give Stryak and the whole backline confidence.
A wee boost. Andy says, no fit with this weekend. So what's in the cards? Golf and long dog walks for me.
I've got Rory's kind of 30th birthday thing on Saturday. Pop into that.
Good.
Don't know if I've got anything else. Maybe something else on Sunday.
Aye.
I'm waiting to see.
Aye, that's right.
How about you?
I'll go running. And there is there's plenty of football on. Put a wee coupon on.
Is that your new addiction, man?
I love the running, mate. Can't stop, won't stop. Done a 13k last week. Crazy.
What's like your back and all that like after that?
Absolutely fine.
Aye.
Absolutely fine.
Do you stretch properly?
No.
No way.
It's a miracle. I don't know what I'm doing. Good shoes, both expensive running shoes.
I think they make a big difference.
And I've tapered it. I've not just ran. I started literally doing 1k, then twice a week, and then up to 3, then up to 5, then now I'm doing long distances.
That's it, man.
Mad. Rango, that's me, mate. Rango Dog, there is Fitba. There he says, nice trip to Winton on Sunday, or Kelly Women v Dundee United women. Captain Colombo, does the Ket need more credit? Shoring Larson, Kilty, Daniels, Lowry, Max, John Jules, and also fees for Dackers and Thompson. And Bullets called him the Gothic McCulloch. Interesting, man, isn't it?
It's a very fair point.
It is. The recruitment is good, man.
But
weirdly,
I'm not getting the kit.
He's not getting the credit anyway. And Van Turnhout's header says, if we keep the diamond, we need someone in midfield to sit in front of the back four. They can join in the attacks when appropriate, but always need to be in a position to drop back and turn the 2 into a 3 defensively. Hard as nails 300 game centre half that's been discussed as a waste of time if we're not going to employ someone in midfield to sit in front of the defence. The other centre back covering the middle on his own, and opposition tackles getting the freedom of Rugby Park has happened far too often. It happened a few times again on Friday. The question is, do we have the personnel in the building, or do we need another signing? Assuming McCann is going to stick to the diamond, so we're led to believe a new signing will be with us momentarily.
McCarthyism.
Cathal McCarthy.
Well, that'll be a Gaelic name.
Mathurin. Maturing. Right, we'll blast these ones over in the X very quickly.
Sean got a gripe for Alan. So
right, and we've got a message for Harper and one for the Nav too, so we need to get through these. Sean McAngus, how do you rank Friday's Ayrshire derby compared to the past derby wins?
Sorry, what?
How do you rank Friday's Ayrshire derby win compared to the past derby wins?
It's again, it'll live long in the memory. But I'm with you, I didn't particularly enjoy aspects of it. But again, it's different if I was there with my mates and like, or my dad, like, and celebrating the goal. Whereas,
see, I was there and I still didn't enjoy it.
I know, but that's you.
I'm being weird now. Kelly Adventures gets in touch. Remember to get a question this week. Lashenko managed to took every ounce of composure going in to win that game. Other than Alson's goal, what's been your favourite match-winning goal? Ours is Ali Mitchell's at Ibrox. It's a cracker. El Finlay one up at Tynecastle was brilliant, wasn't it?
Just because I wasn't there, I can't.
Absolutely tremendous.
But I wish. But it's Alston on it.
It's funny. I think Chris Burke's at Ibrox wasn't a winner. Felt like a winner. They won each one. It's in my head.
The Clark era.
That's what you want. A late one. The Boz Bus says, did you hear the post-match interview? I thought McCann was really touchy and nippy. He has the balls. He should be rightly asked about it. 3 goals and 11 goals in 3 games, and he's the balls to get shirty about it. And then it says a swear word. Only one of us had a smile on her face at full time. That's Andy Carricker. Him and his lovely missus. One in the Kelly strip, one in the Ayr strip. Very nice.
Fair play. That's what it's all about, man.
The gorgeous mutated squirrel was Friday night under the lights. As good a showing as how good an Ayrshire derby can be. Keep up the great work, lads. Thanks, mate. I had everything, mate. To be fair, I did. The real Boydie, who I met before the game as well, pumped them 4-0 last minute win. Might seem obvious, but the euphoria of that late winner is something I haven't felt it fit for a long time. Great finish from MSL and Hugo. Will he break the Nazy fee?
I still would say no. I think he's more than capable, but I just think probably no. But I would take £1 million, just to get some money in the building, man.
Gregor says, what a feeling to beat them. Ian McCall's tears on the radio, tremendous. Should we now consider a 3-5-2 since MSL and Klashenko naturally push so high? Keeps 3 in the midfield, which was crucial to protecting Lowry, who was outstanding.
I always think McCall's actually pretty fair, man.
Aye,
I don't. I've got no ill feeling to
him. Beef with McCall, man.
Said a few daft things, but I'm like, he's a bit of a character. And I always think,
haven't we all?
Cause a spade, man.
Vicky Black, friend at Pod.
Yes.
Tough watching Friday night, but we got the result we needed. At least another home draw for the next round. Can we get to Hampden? I think we can. With no game this weekend, actually help us. I already feel the Dundee United game is a must win, which is a bit mental considering it's only the third of the season.
Aye.
Good points, well made. Scott says the change that won the game was O'Hara. Do you think he should be starting going forward? And brilliant having over 10,000 Rugby Park. Well done to every day it went. We've covered O'Hara. Boo. KTID says, would you drop Tish for TGG for O'Hara and Owen? Personally, I thought they changed the game for us. We kind of covered that, mate. I would say that's pretty fair. Alessandro Boscanero, who's not Italian, said, when are we going to see the German player?
I think that he'll be like training. So again, as Vicky says, the game no going ahead this week, sorry, is probably a blessing in disguise. But in particular for the likes of him, Daniels and all that are obviously back full training, which is great, and you would assume we'll have a bounce game chucked in there.
Good. Kevin says, no question, just a massive shout out for Shoring Larson. Thought he was outstanding. Great touch, travelled with the ball and an eye for goal. My player of the match, although Tom Lowry was also excellent. Brian Gibson changing the scoreboard at full time to seeing them when announcing subs, playing gypsies, traps and thieves at full time, and posting about the buzzer chasing away Vermin had me wondering, what's your favourite bit of shithousery put out by any football team over the years?
The risk of getting sound too negative. I wasn't that. Everybody else loved it, which I'm alright with, but it wasn't really for me.
No?
Nah.
Too petty?
Particularly when we were getting beat 2-1 and they announced the subs as that. I felt laughed, which is fair, but I was stewing.
Aye,
but stewing at the game, and I was thinking, well, no, Dan, is it any fucking good if we don't beat them? But I can get it. Again, there's a place for it, man, but it's just sometimes no my cup of tea. But the best bit of shithousery, I've got to admit, and I'm sorry, Stu, was Celtic bringing Santa out with the league title.
After he'd get booed? Fair enough.
But that was really funny.
My wee elf's hat's after them for that,
and obviously the media boys have had a few good ones, and even that tweet that blew up, like, was so stupid, folk completely get the wrong end of the stick when Celtic won the league, and then they had a list of all the teams that were top of the league, and it was like Hearts for X amount of days, and Kelly were top of the league for a day joint with Livingston.
Right.
And then they obviously
folk went for it, didn't they?
Were like, what a day it was, like, and then folk thought we were saying that because McInnes lost it, and it was a massive blow up. That was really funny because it was so fucking stupid. It was hilarious.
Very good. Galak gets in touch. TJJ playing like a veteran at the 35s, relying purely on ability, has no mobility, needs to get up into the Dean Park house for 4 weeks. I really like the look of Owen. He reminds me of Braga with his running power, a proper wee Jack Russell.
Yeah, I like the comparison to
Braga, aye.
But I've got to say the John Jules comparison has just made me think of me there.
Aye.
I just think
all the ability and no mobility.
Oh, well, aye, to an extent, but I think, like, even before my injury, when I was turning up to sevens, I was like, I've not got it here.
I know the feeling very well.
Move, but I'm like, I'm maybe capable of a few good moments, but I was like, aye, best days are behind me. John Jules are still ahead of him though.
Darren still says, would you drop Tish for O'Hara? We've kind of covered the Tish stuff, mate. Gavin or Hilson, wouldn't it be great if those who run our game in Scotland had some foresight and used their supercomputer to schedule games next weekend between teams not involved in Europe? Instead we're left with out Kelly for a fortnight to see this as a positive or a negative. I think in our case it's actually a positive though, mate, to be honest. Taylor Day gets in touch. Delightful with the comeback result on Friday. All thanks to the Moldovan Messi. Nicky with the chip. Forced to take my brother to his first ever Ayrshire derby, which we both enjoyed. A pure cinema match, and it was a pleasure meeting Cal.
It was good to see Beth, Taylor and Lewis. Obviously Lewis is a massive Rangers fan, so
nobody's perfect.
I know.
Peter, Jamie Brandon isn't good enough. He's been exposed every game this season.
Somebody made a really good point. I don't want to dig it out, and I was like, that's a really good way to put that about Brandon. Was it maybe the Niv again? The Niv's always good at making good points, but saying that he's one of these guys that is, like, ultimately, like, too good for the championship.
Aye.
But just no quite at the next level.
Aye. Mm-hmm. Like Burnley. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, seem to win the championship, then go straight back down.
Aye. Good point. West Brom, undertow.
Jamie Burnley Brandon, that's what we're calling him. The Niv himself says, afternoon chaps, hope you had a great weekend. Question is, becoming harder to ignore the form and the impact of Tom Lowry. He's proving an important component to the side. I maybe have misjudged him under Kettlewell. However, is this current version of Tom Lowry what we were expecting from Liam Polworth when he was here? Who would you rather have between the two?
Oh, Lowry. Definitely. I think that, and again, even adding to, like, the goal that he scored against Dundee and stuff, like, Polworth just no contributed anywhere near enough in that area of the park. He gets assist directly. It's St Johnson as well for, like, a wee knockdown header and all that. I just think credit to him, man. You can tell that he's playing with a bit of confidence and he's up to speed. I
think Lowry's got quite a high ceiling. Wouldn't surprise me if Lowry ended up back down in England playing with a big club down there. Because
that's the thing, is, like, when he signed for the kit, well, what's that brilliant bit of business, with the kind of pedigree he had, but he just never really get going until the kind of last few games of the season. And
looking the part, thanks Niv. And Harpo, hello mate. I don't go in the forums a lot, lads. I know you're trying to phase X out, so just want to say thanks for the recent support and hope you keep going. Love the two of you. We love you too, big man. And by the way, Tish needs dropped from the starting place in place of O'Hara. Brandon looked like a fish out of water, and there's an argument to be made for dropping max. Other than that, what is there to worry about or moan about? Nothing.
Except for Alan.
The gripe of the week. We'll wrap it up with that. Right, Cal, you can do it.
Well, before that, actually, just a quick note that the food bank will be back for the Dundee United game the 29th.
29th, looking forward to it.
A message.
Excellent.
So, for folk, again, if you're able to support that, dignified food provision and all the rest of it would be do incredible work. So Agnew will get a surprise because his first gripe is actually on this week's Patreon.
Right, okay.
No, like as in remember we read out his gripe.
Aye, that's right.
It was on
Aye.
the Patreon, but it was a Stevie Donicky one.
Of course.
So in
Right,
case
yeah.
he thinks that we've actually not
Sorry, Al.
addressed it, we have. And he'll hear that later on this week. But he's gripe this week, so Monty can react to it. Right, here is my second one. Am I the only one who thinks Tishbola is big-headed? That's two games I've seen him, and he's been shying both of them. Time for him to be dropped. Now for the manager. I'm fed up listening to the same drivel every game. Reminds me of a demented walrus. Thank God we won against them, which I did not enjoy one bit. He's in the Monty Club there with that. Brandon should never play again. My God, you and Monty could play better. I don't know whether that's a compliment.
Really. I mean, the walrus thing was a bit of a push, but that's psychotic now, man.
Defend a lot better. We need the German sausage in the team. I hope to God he's no sauerkraut. That's for these keyboard warriors in the forums. Oh dear, their grammar leads a lot to be desired. Irony as Alan's used the wrong there when he said that. You try to have fun and you get red cards, get a body of life. I agree with that, mate. I'll try carry on as long as people want me to because I can. Anyway, boys, you're still doing a great job.
Thank you, Alan. And I think we can all agree, had we just read that out after the start, everybody would have been getting on with their lives now because Alan's summed it all up there better than we could. Anyway, no Kelly game this weekend, so everybody, whatever you're up to, if you're going to the garden centre, you're maybe going out for lunch, maybe you're going to go and watch a junior game, maybe you're just going to read a book, maybe you're going to make a...
You reading in yourself?
I've got bookmarks on about 9 books at the minute.
Kathy Burke's autobiography again.
Again, mate, that's what I've been listening to when I'm out running. I love her, man. I just love Kathy Burke. She's class. Right, everybody, that'll do us. That was an interesting one. I thought it would be short, and it's definitely not been.
We started later though.
Did we? Okay. But thank you for your company.
Thank you.
And thank you once again, every single person, for showing interest in the podcast, for helping keep it going, for sending in your questions. Plenty of folk coming out and chatting about it on Friday night. It means the world to us. We absolutely love talking about Kelly. It can be a challenge sometimes, but we're here, and we're going to be here again next week to discuss the big game coming up against Dundee United, and hopefully by then we'll be more clarity on players coming back and this new signing and stuff like that. Sound good?
They're there and they're always there.
Say no more, man. Right, everybody have a lovely week. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.